Today's discussion is focused on SAP on-premise ERP versus SAP cloud-delivered ERP. So let's take a dive in the deep end and understand how these two options are different, what are the deployment options, and what are the features of each option. So at a fundamental level in the SAP world, on-premise requires the purchase of perpetual licenses from SAP where the customer completely manages its deployment and maintenance in an environment of their choice. Cloud-delivered ERP refers to the provision of the ERP by SAP for customers to use on a subscription model. The objective of both SAP Cloud-delivered ERP and on-premise SAP ERP deployment is primarily to deliver the SAP ERP functionality required for running your business. That said, there are three scenarios possible to deliver this objective within the two environments. But first, let us quickly understand on-premise deployment in a bit more detail. For an on-premise deployment scenario, the customer acquires the required SAP licenses and has to plan for the sizing of the systems, including computing capacity, processing, memory, and storage, all based on the current and future functions and the number of users. This option is generally preferred by large, diverse organizations who would like to exercise significant control over their data, systems, and processes, and have the means and resources to build and manage the same. When we look at the different deployment options, it is important to understand that on one end, options are CapEx intensive, where the customer owns and builds everything. On the other end, options are inclined towards consumption, where the customer owns nothing. These options are OpEx driven. There are two options to deploy on-premise solutions. The first option is where the customer owns the servers as well as the data center. In this option, the customer has to plan for setup and management of their own data center, the network infrastructure, the sizing and deployment of computing resources, virtualization and scale-up architecture, backup and disaster recovery management, as well as the installation, setup, management, and maintenance of the SAP ERP. This option provides the customer total control over the entire landscape, both the IT infrastructure and the SAP application. The second option is where the infrastructure is leased to a third-party provider. This option is for on-premise customers who want total control over their data and application environment, however, are not keen to invest and manage expensive and expertise-based IT landscapes. Many specialized infrastructure as a service cloud providers allow businesses to host applications on a shared high-end virtualized computing environment that is managed based on SLA agreements by the cloud service provider. This offers clients benefits of reduced costs by sharing hardware with other customers, and they only have to pay for the exact amount of server space used. By opting for cloud servers, one can optimize IT performance and also save on huge costs associated with purchasing and managing a dedicated infrastructure. Mostly, businesses with consistent variable demands and lower expertise availability prefer cloud infrastructure. The third option is an SAP Cloud ERP software as a service offering. In today's time, more and more businesses, especially the SMEs, are adopting an acquire-as-you-go best-in-class system strategy to ride aggressive growth and stay lean. This offering is positioned as an integrated, intelligent, out-of-the-box cloud ERP suite offered as a comprehensive SaaS-based subscription, based typically on the number of users and user types. Users don't need to bother about the cost of hardware, maintenance, and security. By adopting this option, organizations can start small, achieve cutting-edge capabilities in a short amount of time, avoid big investments, and management of IT teams and infrastructure. So let us have a look at the features of these three different options. Businesses that go for the on-premise traditional option have to undergo upfront investments in the setup of the entire system and the additional capacity that has to be committed upfront to provide for growth. Also, the costs related to obsolescence and upgrades need to be carefully considered. The organization has to manage additional overheads of skilled consultants and engineers to manage and maintain these systems. The setup time for such an environment is high, considering specialized equipment, technology, and availability of specialized resources to put this together. Being a dedicated and exclusive landscape, organizations with extensive capabilities and capacities to manage will find total control freedom and manageability over the entire landscape, both the IT infrastructure and the SAP application. Organizations have to provide for spare capacity to enable scale up. Also, capacity of infrastructure requires time, preparation, cost, and downtime. To accomplish high availability, businesses first have to invest in standby servers, systems, specialized software, and IT services. This makes the whole process of configuring a high availability environment time and cost intensive. The environment offers the customer total control over data security. Large organizations adopt this environment to meet their custom security and privacy requirements. Businesses using the leased infrastructure on-premise option save heavily on upfront investment in the setup of IT infrastructure, data centers, and the additional capacity that has to be committed upfront to provide for growth. Also, the costs related to obsolescence, upgrades, and IT teams do not exist. However, the costs related to managing and maintenance of the SAP application, system upgrades, etc. remain. The setup time for such an environment is moderately reduced considering time saved in setting up specialized equipment and technology. The time required for setup of the SAP ERP and its optimization for business remains. There is relatively negligible management efforts from an infrastructure perspective. However, all management related to SAP ERP application remains. This option offers very high scalability without having to invest in spare capacity, allowing computing resources and modification on a near immediate basis depending on the existing demand. This ensures that businesses are not paying for idle infrastructure costs when the demand is low. This option also comes with good high availability infrastructure. Customers have the option to subscribe additional services on a need basis. The SAP application offers great application level security. On the infrastructure side, however, customers have to adopt the security environment available with the provider or negotiate additional security services. Businesses that use the Cloud ERP SaaS offering save heavily on all upfront investment that goes into acquiring the IT infrastructure, IT teams, and SAP licenses. They are also protected from the costs related to obsolescence and upgrades and day-to-day management and maintenance of the SAP application. The setup time for such an environment is purely the implementation and consulting services. There is no time required for setup of IT infrastructure and the installation of the SAP ERP and its optimization. There is relatively negligible management effort from both the infrastructure and application perspective. Customers have to adopt SAP best practices and give up over customizing tendencies. This option offers very high scalability while allowing one to start small. This ensures that businesses are paying only for their existing needs. This option comes default with high availability. Customers need not worry about it. The solution is hosted in world-class data centers with stringent compliance standards for security and availability. So when it comes down to it, there is no one rule that fits all in an ERP adoption decision. That said, some of the key considerations in the selection of the right option are organization size and spread, the need for customization, investment considerations, business complexity, internal capabilities and capacities, the organization's roadmap, as well as special security requirements. Looking for the right ERP landscape implementation strategy? Connect with us at connect@imark360.com for a free discussion and evaluation of your business.